What should you do the moment you reach level 70 to gear up as quickly as possible? First, open up your reputation tab and look for these 5 factions. If you're playing Horde, it will be Thrallmore instead of Honor Hold. The reason why these 5 factions will be important is because in Anniversary, we can buy some instant level 70 PvP gear just by reaching Honored with the 5 factions. And yeah, as a fresh level 70 character that likes to do PvE, it might honestly still be an upgrade, even though these items are meant for PvP. Beside buying PvP items, then we can of course get useful PvE items. What I'm using myself is an add-on called Atlas Loot, so I can check what I can buy at the different quartermasters, but I doubt you will be exalted with any factions as a fresh level 70 character. However, you might be honored or revered with some of the factions, at least if you did dungeon farm to 70. The next one is for those of you who did farm honor and BG marks in the pre-patch. What I did myself were to farm 75,000 honor and a lot of AB, Warson and Alteric Valley marks. These I can then exchange in Stormwind City and Okuma into PvP items. Yeah, the blue PvP quality items are equal to what you can get at the Quartermasters, and this is the exact reason why my own plan is just to purchase the epic off pieces. Hopefully you have made yourself a bit of gold on your way to max level. If so, well then you could spend this on the auction house and purchase different rare and epic items, or simply spend your gold and level up your professions. Leveling professions will be so important, especially during the beginning of the Burning Crusade. I'm not saying it's mandatory to level up professions, it's just increasing your chance of being invited into dungeons and raids, as you can craft some decent epic items in the beginning. However, if you've got yourself gather professions, and if you're planning to quest at max level, then it might be worth to spend the gold and buy an epic flying mount so you can travel around a lot quicker. The reason being that materials will be so expensive in the beginning, so you can probably farm yourself a lot of gold with an epic flying mount. My own plan is of course not to do this, as I haven't got any gather professions, and I will probably just be dungeon farming. If you're planning to do the exact same, so skipping an epic flying mount, well then what you could do instead is to buy these insane bind on equip items. These items are crafted through professions. For some classes it will be your pre-raid biz, but be aware they're quite expensive. Else it's pretty straightforward. You should start farming dungeons for reputations and hopefully new rare upgrades. But what will be the best dungeons to do? Well, this is where Atlas Loot TBC Anniversary once again becomes useful. At the top left, you can choose your pre-read biz, and then you've got to scroll through the list to find your class and specialization. In my case, I'm playing Resto Shaman, and the best option is Mooncloth Tailoring Shoulders. Else, I could head into Manatomb's Heroic and get these, or another dungeon, Shadow Labyrinth. In some cases, it won't tell you how to obtain the item. This is where I use Wowhead, then I search for that specific item, I scroll down, and in this case, I can see it's a quest reward in Netherstorm. You press on the quest to track the series, and then you go to step 1, so you can start doing the different quest chains to eventually unlock the item you're aiming for. There are so many different quests you can do with some decent rewards, and the great thing is that when you do this at level 70, you will be rewarded with a lot of additional gold. You can in fact do a lot of these quests before reaching max level, and those I've covered in another video must do before level 70. You can find this in the description. Beside questing and dungeon farming, then it is important to start during the Carousel Attunement. This can be started in front of the raid, where there will be some pre-quest, and after 20 minutes or so, you will be ready to do the first dungeon, Shadow Labyrinth. One of the biggest benefits of doing the Carousel Attunement is that you will be rewarded with a lot of guaranteed rare items, not from the actual attunement, but from the different dungeons you gotta head into. There will for example be quests in front of Shadow Labyrinth, and it's the exact same with Steam Vault, the second dungeon you gotta do in order to obtain the second key fragment. Beside during the Carousel Attunement, then you should focus on your different factions and try to get these to Revered. At Revered, you can purchase yourself a heroic key, and there will be many different keys, each of these granting you access to specific dungeons. For example, Honor Hold or Thrallmore grants you access to the Hellfire dungeons. And the reason why you would like to do heroics is because you're being rewarded with way better loot and Badge of Justice. Don't forget to always pick up the daily heroic quest. This you pick up in Shattered City at this location. It rewards you with 2 additional Badge of Justice. All you gotta do is to loot an item from the final boss in the dungeon. And the Badge of Justice you can exchange into different epic items. Those epic items can be purchased in the middle of Shattered City. And the reason why I try to focus on heroics in the beginning is because all the different tier 4 raids won't be unlocked at the release. No, we gotta wait until February 19. Another thing I'll do as I'm waiting for the raids to be released is to do as much PvP as possible. When I'm doing PvP, it's basically because I would like to get as much PvP gear as possible. Yeah, even as a PvE player. I always make sure to do the daily PvP quest. This you pick up in Shattered City. Alliance will need to head to the blue mark, and Horde to the red one. And this is just to get some additional honor and 3 VG marks when I complete this quest. Alright, so why am I spending time during PvP as a PvE player? Well, the arena season will begin on February 17, so 2 days before the release of the different raids, giving me time to do a bit of arenas. And yes, as a PvE player, it's important, as you can get yourself gladiator weapons. A big change in Anniversary is that you only need to get to 1700 rating, and all arena teams start at 1500, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Yet another benefit is that the shield, held in offhand and throw, requires no arena rating, only arena points. There are honestly many things you can do at max level, which I've covered in another video you can find in the description. And all of these things I would recommend you to do as you're waiting for the different tier 4 raids, yeah maybe even arenas to be released. And on my channel you can find a lot of other useful videos you definitely don't want to miss, and soon a lot more, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when I post these. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.